Close your eyes if you'd like to, or leave them open, soft and unfocused, however feels most comfortable tonight. Tonight, I want to take you somewhere very far away, a place that isn't on any map you've ever seen, tucked into a fold of gentle hills where the rivers move slowly and the evenings last a long, long time. It's called Willow Hollow. You won't find it if you go looking for it. It finds you sometimes on nights when you need somewhere quiet to rest your mind. And tonight, it has found you. So let's go there together. Slowly. There's no hurry at all. The road into Willow Hollow winds down through a stand of old willow trees, their long branches trailing so low they brush the top of your head as you pass beneath them, soft as a hand smoothing your hair. It is early evening. The sky above the valley has turned the color of a ripe peach, fading into a deep, dusty lavender at the edges. The air smells like cut grass and warm bread, and somewhere, very far off, a bell is ringing. Not urgently, just once, twice, marking the hour the way it has for as long as anyone in the village can remember. The village itself sits in the lowest part of the valley, where the hills curve around it like two hands cupped gently together. There are perhaps 40 houses, all built from pale gray stone with roofs of dark slate, and every single window has a lantern in it, or is about to. You walk down the road slowly. There is no reason to walk quickly here. Nothing in Willow Hollow has ever been in a hurry. Not once, not in 300 years. The road is soft underfoot, packed earth, worn smooth by generations of slow evening walks just like this one. On either side, the wildflowers are closing for the night, their petals folding inward one by one, the way your eyelids might be doing right now. As you walk, you begin to hear the village waking up to its evening rhythm, not waking up to bustle and noise. Quite the opposite. Willow Hollow is a place that spends its evenings very deliberately, unhurriedly, settling itself down for sleep, the way a cat circles 3 times before it curls into a patch of sun. Let's visit a few of its people and watch how each one prepares for rest. There is no rush. We have all the time in the world. At the edge of the village square stands a narrow stone tower, not very tall, with a spiral of worn steps circling up the inside of it. This is where old Bramwell lives, the lantern keeper of Willow Hollow, a job that has belonged to his family for 6 generations. Every evening, just as the sky turns from peach to lavender to that deep, soft blue-gray that comes right before full dark, Bramwell takes down his long brass pole with a little flame at the tip and begins his rounds. He moves slowly. He has always moved slowly. Even as a young man, they say, he never once hurried a single lantern. There are exactly 31 lanterns in Willow Hollow, one at each corner of the square, one outside the bakery, one at the bridge, one at the well, and 24 more scattered along the winding lanes between the houses. Bramwell begins at the square. He reaches up with his long brass pole and touches the small flame to the wick inside the glass, and the lantern glows. Not a bright, sharp light, but something warmer. Amber, soft at the edges, like candlelight seen through a curtain. 1 lantern, then a slow walk to the next. 2 lanterns. He hums while he works. An old, wordless tune that doesn't seem to have a beginning or an end, just a gentle rise and fall, like breathing. 3 lanterns, 4. The village is filling up with small pools of warm light now, each one a little island in the gathering dusk. Bramwell's boots make a soft, unhurried sound against the cobblestones, a slow, even rhythm. Step, step, pause to light. Step, step, pause to light. 5 lanterns, 6, 7. Somewhere around the 8th or 9th lantern, on the lane that curves past the old well, Bramwell always stops for a moment and looks up at the sky, checking how the stars are coming along, the way another person might check the time. Tonight, 3 stars have already appeared, faint and unhurried, in the deepening blue above the hills. Coming along nicely, he murmurs to no one and continues on his way. 8 lanterns, 9, 10. He passes the bakery where warm light and the smell of bread drift out through an open window, and gives a small nod to whoever might be inside, though he doesn't stop to talk. Talking can wait until tomorrow. Tonight is for lighting lanterns, slowly, one after another, each one exactly like the one before it. 11, 12, 13. By the time Bramwell reaches the far edge of the village, where the last lantern hangs on a post beside a little wooden footbridge, full darkness has settled over Willow Hollow, and every lantern is glowing steadily. 31 small, warm, patient flames, holding back the night just enough to see by. No more than that. Bramwell leans on his brass pole for a moment, looking back at the village behind him. All those soft amber lights scattered across the dark hillside, like something spilled gently from a jar. He nods once, satisfied, the way he does every single evening. Then he begins a slow walk home, where a chair by the fire and a cup of something warm are waiting for him. His work is done for the night. The lanterns will burn low and steady until morning, and Willow Hollow will sleep beneath their quiet light. Not far from the lantern keeper's tower, on the corner where 2 lanes meet, sits the only bakery in Willow Hollow. It's run by a woman named Odessa, who has a flour permanently dusted into the creases of her hands, and a voice like warm honey poured slowly from a jar. By this hour, Odessa's baking for the day is finished. The last loaves, round, golden brown, with a crackling crust, sit cooling on a wide wooden rack near the window, filling the whole lane outside with their smell. She moves through the small kitchen slowly now, the frantic work of the morning long behind her. There is a particular rhythm to how a bakery closes for the night, and Odessa knows it by heart. First, she bangs the fire in the great stone oven, not putting it out entirely, just covering the coals with ash so they'll smolder gently through the night and be ready to wake again before dawn. She does this carefully, methodically, laying the ash over the embers in slow, careful sweeps. Then she wipes down the long wooden counter, her cloth moving in wide, unhurried circles, clearing away the last dustings of flour. The counter has been scrubbed this way every night for 11 years, and the wood has gone smooth and pale under her hands, worn soft by all that gentle repetition. Next, she wraps the day's leftover bread in soft cloth. 2 loaves for the widow Hensley up the lane, who can't manage the walk to the bakery some mornings. 1 loaf set aside for Bramwell the lantern keeper, who always looks a little too thin, in Odessa's opinion, and the rest into a basket by the door, for whoever might need it. Outside her window, she can see Bramwell's lanterns glowing one by one further down the lane, and she pauses to watch for a moment, resting her hands on the counter, feeling the ache of a long day settle pleasantly into her shoulders. The good kind of tired, the kind that comes from useful work well done. She thinks, as she often does at this hour, about tomorrow's bread. Rye, she decides. Something dark and slow rising. The dough left to sit overnight in a cool corner, working quietly on its own while the whole village sleeps. She mixes it now. Flour, water, a little starter she's kept alive for years. Salt. Her hands move through the motions without needing to think about them, folding the dough over itself again and again and again. A slow, patient rhythm with no need to hurry, because dough left to rise overnight has nowhere to be but exactly where it is. She covers the bowl with a damp cloth and sets it in the coolest corner of the kitchen, where it will sit quietly through the night, rising by degrees too small to see, the way sleep itself creeps up on a person. So gradually, you can never quite catch the moment it arrives. With that done, Odessa unties her apron, hangs it on its peg by the door, and turns down the last lamp in the kitchen. The bakery falls into a soft, flower-scented darkness, lit only by the faint amber glow drifting in from Bramwell's lantern outside. She locks the door behind her, though in Willow Hollow, no one can quite remember why they still bother with locks, and she walks home along the quiet lane. Her steps slow, her mind already drifting towards sleep. Let's follow the lane a little further, past the bakery, down toward the small wooden footbridge at the edge of the village, where the last lantern hangs. Beneath the bridge runs the River Wend. Not a large river, nowhere near as grand as the ones you might have seen elsewhere, but wide and slow and deeply unbothered by the idea of hurrying anywhere. If you lean over the wooden railing and look down, you'll see the water moving beneath you, dark and glassy, catching small fragments of lantern light and moonlight and scattering them gently across its surface. The current here is so slow that fallen leaves seem to simply hang suspended on it for long moments before drifting, unhurried, downstream. There's a sound the river Wen makes at night. Not quite a rush, not quite a murmur, something in between. A low, steady, endless sound. The kind that fills up all the empty spaces in your thoughts until there's no room left for anything but listening. Some nights, if you stand on the bridge long enough, you might see the miller's old dog, a gray-muzzled hound named Pepper, come padding down to the riverbank for a slow drink before bed. He moves without any urgency at all, the way old dogs do, lowering himself down to the water's edge, drinking in long, unhurried laps, the sound of it mixing with the river's own quiet murmur. When he's had enough, Pepper turns 3 slow circles in the soft grass by the bank, the way dogs have always done before lying down, and settles there for a while, chin resting on his paws, listening to the water the same as you are. The mill itself sits just upstream, its great wheel finally still after a long day of turning. The wheel doesn't work at night. The miller, a broad, quiet man named Thistlewood, always stops it just after sunset, letting the water flow gently past the paddles instead of pushing them. He does this the same way every evening, walking out along the narrow platform, releasing the wooden brake with one slow pull, and standing for a moment listening as the great wheel groans once and comes to rest. Then he simply watches the water flow past it for a while, unbothered, unhurried, before heading inside for the night. Above all of this, the bridge, the river, the sleeping mill wheel, old Pepper resting on the bank. The sky has gone fully dark now, and the stars have come out properly, scattered thick and soft across the whole valley. The way spilled sugar might scatter across a dark tablecloth. Stay here a while longer, if you like, listening to the river. There is nowhere else you need to be. Up the hill from the bridge, along a lane lined with small stone cottages, the children of Willow Hollow are being put to bed, one house at a time. In the cottage with the blue door lives a girl named Wren, 7 years old, with a gap where her front tooth used to be. Her mother is drawing the curtains now, slow and careful, shutting out the last of the evening light, while Wren lies curled beneath a quilt, stitched from dozens of small fabric squares, soft blues and greens and warm creams, each one a scrap from some old, worn-out piece of clothing, sewn together by her grandmother years ago. Her mother sits on the edge of the bed and begins, very softly, to hum the same wordless tune that Bramwell hums on his rounds. The melody seems to belong to the whole village somehow, passed between everyone without anyone quite remembering where it began. Wren's eyes grow heavier with each slow rising note. 2 doors down, in the cottage with the red shutters, twin boys named Cassius and Cato are having their nightly disagreement about which one gets the spot closest to the window. A disagreement that happens every single night and is settled every single night the same way by their grandfather flipping a small brass coin worn smooth from years of exactly this use. Tonight, Cassius wins the coin toss, as he does perhaps a little more than half the time, though Cato has never quite worked out if that's fair or not. Within minutes of settling into their spots, both boys are breathing slow and even, the argument entirely forgotten, the way children's arguments always seem to dissolve. The moment sleep gets close enough to touch. Further along, in the smallest cottage on the lane, a boy named Fenwick, not yet 3 years old, is being rocked gently in his mother's arms, in a chair that creaks softly with each slow back and forth motion. Creak, pause, creak, pause. His mother doesn't sing any particular song, just murmurs low and soft, the same few sounds over and over, the way you might murmur to soothe someone you love. Very much. Fenwick's small fist is curled tight around a fold of his mother's sleeve, and with every creak of the chair, his grip loosens just a little more, until finally, his hand falls open entirely, and his breathing settles into the long, slow rhythm of a child who has, at last, fallen properly asleep. One by one, up and down the lane, the small windows go dark, their curtains drawn, their lanterns dimmed to nothing more than a faint glow. The children of Willow Hollow are asleep, all of them, tucked into beds their families have kept warm for generations, beneath quilts stitched by grandmothers, in rooms that smell faintly of the bread cooling in Odessa's bakery, down the hill. Behind the last row of cottages, where the lane finally gives way to open field, there is an old orchard belonging to no one in particular, or perhaps belonging to everyone, the way certain places in small villages sometimes do. The trees here are ancient, their trunks thick and gnarled, their branches heavy with apples not quite ready for picking. In the deep blue darkness, you can just make out their shapes, still and patient, standing in loose, uneven rows across the sloping field. If you walk slowly among them, and there's no reason not to, the grass is soft and cool underfoot, still faintly damp from the evening, you'll notice how quiet it is out here, quieter even than the village itself. The only sounds are the occasional soft thud of a windfall apple dropping into the grass, and the low, steady chirr of crickets, hundreds of them filling the whole orchard, with a sound so constant and even It becomes almost like silence itself if you listen long enough. There is a particular apple tree at the center of the orchard, older and larger than all the rest, with a wide, flat stone resting beneath its lowest branches, smoothed by centuries of village children climbing up to sit and dream, and by generations of tired farmers resting there after long days in the fields. If you'd like, you can sit there too, on the smooth, cool stone, leaning back against the trunk of the old tree, and simply listen to the orchard breathing around you, the crickets, the occasional apple falling, the faint rustle of leaves stirred by a breeze so gentle you can barely feel it on your skin. Above you, through the gaps in the branches, the stars are scattered thick across the sky, more of them than you could ever hope to count. And you don't need to count them. You only need to notice they're there, patient and unhurried, exactly the way they've always been, exactly the way they'll be tomorrow night, and the night after that, and every night for as long as Willow Hollow exists. Stay here as long as you'd like. The orchard isn't going anywhere. Neither are you, really. Not tonight. Tonight, there's only this: the cool stone, the old tree, the crickets, the stars, and the slow settling quiet of an orchard getting ready to sleep, same as everything else in the valley. Let's make our way back down toward the center of the village now, to the square, where the evening's last few quiet activities are winding down. The tavern here, a low stone building called the Sleeping Fox, has already gone dark, its chairs stacked neatly on its tables, its fire banked down to a soft red glow behind the iron grate. The tavern keeper, a heavy-set, soft-spoken man named Old Corliss, is the very last person to leave most nights, and he's leaving now, locking the heavy wooden door behind him with a key worn shiny from years of this exact same motion. Across the square, the well sits quiet under its own small lantern, the bucket resting at the bottom of its rope, not needed again until morning. Someone, perhaps one of the children, perhaps not, has left a small posy of wildflowers resting on the well's stone rim, already beginning to close for the night, the way all the flowers in the valley do. The square itself is empty now, its cobblestones holding the last faint warmth of the day, slowly giving that warmth back up into the cool night air. If you stood here and pressed your palm flat against the stones, you'd feel it. Not hot, just faintly, gently warm, like something settling down after a long day of being useful. Above the square, the sky has gone to full, deep midnight blue, and the stars are everywhere now. And somewhere among them, very low on the horizon, a pale sliver of moon has begun to rise. Not full tonight, just a soft crescent, curved like a closed eye, like the whole sky itself is drifting toward sleep right along with the village beneath it. Bramwell's lanterns still glow steadily along every lane, 31 small patient flames holding the darkness at exactly the right distance, close enough to feel safe, soft enough not to disturb anyone's rest. By now, if you were to walk slowly through every lane of Willow Hollow, and we have walked through quite a few of them together tonight, you would find nearly the whole village asleep, or very close to it. Odessa, the baker, home now, has fallen asleep in her chair by her own small fire, a half-finished cup of something warm cooling on the table beside her hand still faintly dusted with flour even in sleep. Old Bramwell, the lantern keeper, is asleep too, in the narrow bed at the top of his tower, his brass pole leaning in the corner where it always leans, ready for tomorrow evening's rounds. Though tomorrow is a long, long way off from where he is now. Thistlewood the miller sleeps beside his still, silent mill wheel, the river wind murmuring on below him, exactly as it has for 300 years, exactly as it will tomorrow. Unhurried, unbothered, endless. Wren and Cassius and Cato and small Fenwick are all long asleep in their small warm beds, tangled in quilts, breathing slow and even, dreaming whatever gentle, unremarkable dreams children dream in villages like this one. Old Corliss, the tavern keeper, sleeps above his darkened tavern. The widow Hensley sleeps with 2 fresh loaves of bread waiting on her kitchen table for morning. Pepper, the old hound, sleeps curled by the riverbank, exactly where we left him. Even the orchard, in its own slow way, has settled. The crickets grown quieter now, the windfall apples resting undisturbed in the cool grass, the old trees standing patient and still beneath their heavy branches, holding their unpicked fruit toward whatever tomorrow might bring. And you, wherever you're listening to this from, whatever bed or chair or quiet corner you're settled into right now, you're welcome to stay in Willow Hollow as long as you need to tonight. There's nothing more required of you here. No more lanes to walk, no more doors to look through, no more small warm moments to visit. Just the village, sleeping gently in its valley between 2 hills. Just the river, moving slow and dark beneath the little wooden bridge. Just the lanterns, 31 of them, burning low and steady until morning. Just the stars and the soft crescent moon, and the crickets in the old orchard, and the quiet, unhurried, endless sound of a whole valley breathing evenly in its sleep. The road that brought you here is still there, if you ever want to leave. But there's no need to think about that now. For now there's only this, the soft dark, the warm lantern light, the slow river. Willow Hollow, sleeping, and you sleeping too.